So for today's card, I have a standard A6 base. I'm just going to put this into my frame and put my clip on, like so. Right, now I have my first layer cut out to size already, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to put my paper into here, lay it down, and just remove the frame. For my second layer, I have a piece of tracing paper cut to size, and the first thing I want to do is make sure it doesn't have any grease spots on it. So this is just some talc, baby talc as it happens, and just put over like so. So I'm just going to use the Versamark, and I'm going to be stamping only about half the stamp, and I just use my nails on top of the card because they don't have stickiness on them from anything else. And I am just going to go around randomly stamping the edge of this, twisting, turning, whatever. Now, because you can't easily see it, you might need to hold it up to the light to check that you've got everywhere done, and I have, so that's fine. So I'm going to open up this piece of scrap paper and put this down here. Now what I'm going to use today are these powders by Jacquard. If you don't have these, however, you can use pearlized eyeshadows. If you have old eyeshadows, or if you find some cheap ones in the dollar stores or pound shops or whatever, they work just as well. If they are shiny, then they will work really nicely on this. Now I tried this yesterday because I wasn't sure if using this on a tracing paper would really work. Got news for you, it does most definitely work. I've picked up way too much of that powder. So there we go. I'm going to have to see if I can tip some of that out, because otherwise I'm going to have this all one colour. Picked up a bit too much on that brushful. It's amazing how little you need. It's like embossing powders, you do not need very much at all. There we go. Now these things might seem relatively expensive to buy. I asked for them as a Christmas present one year, so I didn't actually have to buy them myself. But considering how much you can do with relatively little of it, they are not that expensive. But as I said, you know, if you don't want to get them, we haven't got them, or want to try out the effect to see if you like it first, try it with some eyeshadows. I'm going to try and pick up a little less of the powder this time, and I'm going for a sort of mauvey one. And you do want a brush that has got a bit of a splayed head on it, preferably, because otherwise you'll be dabbing it in too much of a set area. So that's a little bit of the mauve put on. And then finally, I think for this one, I'm going to use, decisions. Do I use the blue or do I use, maybe I'll use both, I don't know. I want to try out some of the blue on here. They don't all look particularly pearlescent in the jars. However, they are pearlescent. So, and you can get all sorts of colours in this. You can get verdigris and sort of platinum, silvers, golds. They do several different colours of gold. Some of them are absolutely stunning. Now with this, I'm just trying to go over all the bits that I didn't get with the other colours. So I can literally just swish it around. And cover up the bits that I didn't get before. There we go, that's that done. Right, now I'm going to leave this to dry naturally, and I will come back to this later on and show you the full effect. Okay, so I've got my decorated piece here, and all I've done is I've taken a piece of soft dry cloth and I have buffed up this until I've got some of the excess powder off, and it's very subtle, particularly in daylight. In artificial light it will show up far more, but there's a beautiful sheen to this in multicolours. So I need to try and put that onto the front of my card. Now, because it's tracing paper, this does make me use another method, somewhat different to the one I would normally use. So I've got my frame here because I'm so bad at lining things up, and I'm going to slot that in like that. What I have here is my sentiment, which has been heat embossed with some platinum embossing powder. And that is going to go, first of all, that is going to go into the centre. But then this needs to be raised up on here. Now you'll notice, of course, that that also means that I need to raise the corners. And what I'm going to do is to turn this over and cut some foam tape, and I'm going to cut that so that it hides behind my sentiment panel. But I need to put something in these corners as well. So what I did was I used a hole punch and I stuck some of the tape on some of the, as it happens, it's on the tracing paper, and just punched the holes through it, which means that I have little sticky circles of the correct size to hide behind embellishments that I might choose to put on. Now I could put these on, or I might put these on. I'm inclined perhaps more towards those. So I need to place this so that it is over that edge there. Place that down and then place that there. So I've done that, and then all I need is to cover my little pieces with some gems. There we are, that is my Get Well Soon card. So here I'm doing a design with eyeshadows just to prove it can be done. Now I have swapped to this sort of brush because this one is too soft. It's fine for a powder, but if you've got a palette shadow, it's not got enough strength in it to break it up. So this sort of brush is better for that. And so if you just want to try this method out, then, you know, just get yourself the most garish, sparkly looking eyeshadows you can find, because those will give you really good results. You don't want subtlety. When it comes to this, you want to go for something that's definitely not subtle. Right, I had to stop filming then. My battery ran out on me for some reason. So I've now done the same sort of thing with this card, and I've not dusted it off yet. This has just been done with the eyeshadows, nothing else. And even in daylight you can see that it does actually have a kind of sheen to it. I'm just going to wave over my heat tool to make sure that it's actually dry before I wipe any excess off. And I'm sure you've got a dry tissue, and going to buff off the excess. So there we have the overall pattern.